Welcome to Innovations in the Field, brought to you by BASF. I'm Colleen Callahan. When it doesn't rain for 6 weeks, you have problems. That was the conclusion of Dell and Lance Unger, corn and soybean farmers from Indiana. But they did what they could do to compensate and devised ways to diminish problems in future growing seasons. The full Unger team planted soybeans and corn at the same time this year. Lance believes they get better soybeans by getting them in early.
We started planting corn and beans essentially a day apart. We got the two corn planters set and kind of got those rolling. The next day we took and set in, got the bean planter set and running like we wanted to. It's imperative for us to be able to plant our soybeans early. We're finding better yield benefits for them. We got better moisture trying to get beans finished up there earlier on than waiting on those.
The risk this year was for all the corn to pollinate at once, so planting early soybeans while the corn planter sat at least spread out the corn pollination for a few days.
We felt that it was more important to be planting beans and maybe not make quite as much headway on our corn because we were starting to get a lot of our corn shoved into one window.
The Ungers believe in keeping sulfur levels high enough to allow other nutrients to work at optimum levels, and they pursued that strategy again this year.
It's just hard to get enough sulfur. Used to, we with coal-fired power plants, we got it free. We cleaned our air up. Then we had to start buying sulfur. And corn or beans, either one, it's hard to just shove enough sulfur in our program anymore, and that's expensive. And we've seen great response from sulfur in soybeans, especially on some of our lighter soils. You tie it with magnesium because those lighter soils, coarser textured soils, are always usually a little lower in magnesium as well. So you tie the sulfur and magnesium together, and you get great yield response. Standard approach for us now is that R1. We're going to make an application of that to try to get those extra bushels on those beans and get them rolling, because when they're entering that reproductive stage, that's where you really can move the needle on the yield. When you feed them like that, they really respond, and I think our pod set and our pod count is just higher.
They also used Preaxor and Topaz fungicides on all acres, but they found they worked better on the irrigated fields. We'll look at why, plus other trials on their fields in our next podcast. The Ungers plus other leading-edge farmers are featured in select issues of Progressive Farmer Magazine's Innovations in the Field, sponsored by BASF. You can also go online to dtnpf.com/innovations. Thanks for listening.